Okay, this is the 2019 paper 2, question 2 on your trigo topic. So the first part, they want you to prove that this is equals to cotangent theta, right? So we're going to start from our left hand side, right? All we're going to do is, well, we're just going to make our denominators the same because we want to combine the fraction together, right? So I'm just going to multiply sine theta on both sides. Sorry, on my numerator and my denominator. And for the other side, I'm going to multiply 1 minus cosine theta, right, over 1 minus cosine theta sine theta, right? And you will realize that actually this part, what you're doing is just a bit of like e-math lah. You're just making the denominators the same. Once you have made the denominators the same, we can then combine them together. So we get sine square theta minus 1. Okay, this part need to be careful because minus minus, we get minus 1 plus cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta sine theta. Okay, and here some students will get lost. What do I need to do here? Well, we can see that at our right hand side, we want it to become cotangent, right? And cotangent, you should know that it is basically just cosine theta over sine theta. This should prompt you that, actually I want to retain this below. The thing I want to get rid of is, well, 1 minus cosine theta. So how do I get rid of that? Well, you need to be able to see that, I have sine square theta at the top. I want to make all my terms at my numerator become cosine, right? Because I want to try to get rid of cosine. And the only way you can do that is, well, to use your formula sheet over here, where your first identity, sine square A plus cosine square A equals to 1. We can rearrange this to just get us sine square A is equals to 1 minus cosine square A. Right, so we're going to use this identity over here. We're going to sub it in. So over here, instead of sine square theta, it just becomes 1 minus cosine square theta minus 1 plus cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta sine theta. Okay, we rearrange this, we simplify this at the top a bit. The 1 and the 1 cancels out. So at our top, we just get it to be negative cosine square theta plus cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta sine theta. Here I can see that, okay, I can actually factorize out cosine theta at the numerator. And inside, I just get it to be negative cosine theta plus 1, right? And my denominator just becomes 1 minus cosine theta sine theta. Well, we're very close already because we just want to get cosine theta over sine theta. This one over here, you can rearrange it a bit, right? We just rearrange it to become cosine theta over here, 1 minus cosine theta over 1 minus cosine theta sine theta, right? And these two you can cancel out, and therefore we just get this to be equals to cotangent theta. Over here, we just write short. Okay, so for proving, you should just treat it to be as e-math. The first part, actually, all we're doing is make same denominator, right? Then the second part, what we actually did was we actually just combined them together, and we actually used a-math formula sheet, right? To see the pattern, we want to convert everything to become cosine theta. So that's the pattern. And after that, well, we actually just factorize, right? We factorized out cosine theta, right? So this is just seeing what is common. And afterwards, we just cancel, we just basically just simplify from here. Okay, so that's for part 1, right? And then for part 2, they tell you, hence solve this equation equals to 3 tangent theta. So we can see, first just compare, make sure that they are actually the same, right? They actually look the same. So therefore, we can just replace this whole thing with cotangent theta is equals to 3 tangent theta. Okay, let me just double check again. Is it the same? Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so we rearrange this, after we made the thing to become cotangent theta, right? This whole expression to become cotangent theta, right? Cotangent theta is also the same as 1 over tangent theta. And 1 over tangent theta is now equals to 3 tangent theta. I'm going to cross multiply. I'm just going to get 1 equals to 3 tangent square theta. And here I will simplify it. I just get tangent square theta is actually just equals to 1 over 3. Here we can square root both sides, right? And we square root both sides, we get tangent theta to just equals to square root plus minus 1 over 3. Okay, take note, you need to have this plus minus over here. Because why? The next step, we're going to first find our basic angle, right? And for your basic angle, remember it's always the inverse of the positive value, right? Because we always want to try to get our basic angle, and our basic angle is a acute angle, right? Remember, it is a acute angle, right? So we will need to just inverse the positive value, always the positive value, right? Then you press this in your calculator, you will get your basic angle to just be 30 degrees. And from here, we can see that we are going to use our ASTC. And which quadrants do we lie in, considering the range of theta to be 0 to 180? Well, we need to know that in all quadrants, of course, because we have both positive and negative. And not just that, but also in the S quadrant, right? Because this is when the negative tangent theta appears, right? So therefore, we can conclude that, well, we just have two answers. Theta equals to 30 degrees. This is in the A quadrant, right? And or that of theta equals to 180 minus 30 degrees, which you just get it to be equals to 150 degrees. This is in the S quadrant, right? And from here, you just get your two answers. Theta equals to 30, theta equals to 150. Okay, so that's how you do question 2.